good. This, in a sense, is healing. We talk about healing at Lourdes and all of these things. The healing is an attitude. The individual goes there sick, but if within himself he has made certain dedications, he has certain positive and constructive beliefs, and is trying desperately and willingly to find the real deeper reasons for things, he may secure a healing. Everyone who goes there is not healed. Only the individual who deserves it by reorganizing his own inner life, not by the outside but from the inside. It is the same way in nations. We are coming now to a time when it's becoming obvious that the resources of our planet cannot continue to be wasted without a woeful want resulting in the long run. Some people are taking the vibration attitude, let's make it while we can. That sets up one pattern, but that pattern is not good. Another group says that we should tear down the whole structure and start over again, but that is difficult because they do not know which way to go if they start again. All these different problems require a deeper insight into the pattern of natural ways. The most simple and common pattern of the working with this vibratory field is simply the Sermon on the Mount. Here we have a basic group of constructive affirmations of life. We have the individual committing his inner life to harmony. The moment he is in harmony inside himself, his vibratory rates change and become harmonious. Those who have studied the matter and who have taken many photographs of these changes in the structure of the person testify that the moment their individual improves character, the problems begin to fall away. We gain a certain strength simply by being right. Being right means to be normal in terms of vibration. Everything is vibration. Love is a wonderful vibration, probably the highest we have. Hate is the worst. And these things immediately become psychic toxins. They disappear into the invisible, but they remain. They remain as a source of continuous infection. And as these infections build up, nationally, individually, collectively, we begin to see the reaction upon the energy resources of the planet and of the individual. We cannot constantly think wrong and be right. We cannot continually practice destructive habits and then by some intellectual remedy try to find an answer. Everything depends on the planet and in the individual upon being right. The rightness being that the integrities are correct. When they are, we will have very much less suffering and pain to work from or for. But we have to begin to also realize that we cannot find the answers to any physical problem on the physical level alone. Always an answer has to come from a superior level from that which causes the problem. It has to be above the problem and cannot fight it on its own level. Therefore, if a certain condition arises in society, society must respond by an improvement above the condition itself. If the financial situation is the cause of the trouble, then the problem is to straighten it out and find out how financing can be used for the good of all and not for the profit of one. The moment selfishness enters into the thing, the vibrations all go sick. So you live in the midst of vibratory interpretations of action. Everything that happens for a reason, but that reason is not always visible or obvious or apparent. But it is within the individual, and it shows in several ways. A very serious mistake within the life of the individual will result in physical illness. It may also result in decreased efficiency and losses in various fields. It may break up the home, another loss due to uncorrected mistakes. And so it goes until it goes into national affairs and results in an international tangle we call war. All of these things are based upon the assumption that the individual can do what he pleases. He can try to, but the universe is bigger than he is, and the universe is going to bring him back into line, because it's no other way to go. It's not punishment. It is not an effort to make him unhappy. It is simply a chemistry on the invisible side of life, in which factors that are incompatible injure each other. These incompatibles in some other arrangement might be beneficial, but the individual who is out of balance is rocking the boat. He's getting himself into trouble. And the only answer that we have for the average person is that he shall do the thing himself the best he can. Now, in the Orient, there are certain disciplines that have been set up for this purpose. Disciplines, nearly all of which are based upon common moral principles. They are intensified, they're extended. But the basic problem is that the individual shall preserve his own energy fields correctly. If he does not, he will get into trouble. Now we have, for instance, nuclear warfare on our hands. Nuclear warfare is a great problem of the moment, one of the very greatest. There's no way of controlling nuclear warfare. There is no way of preventing any nation from ultimately being able to enter the nuclear group. There is no way to prevent a madman from using it. There is no way to take care of the situation except to recognize the danger and take the necessary major steps, regardless of how these steps interfere with profits, returns, and all kinds of political escapades. The nuclear problem has to be solved or it will break out. The commercial problem has to be solved. Health problem has to be solved. And the solution is the reestablishment of internal harmony, either in the body or in the collective. This harmony, this neutral harmony, is constructive magnetism. It is the normal flow of energy that we all require. The moment we misuse it or abuse it, it turns on us. And it will continue to turn on us until we straighten out whatever we are doing that is wrong. This Reichenbach was well aware of. He was very well able to make the test to prove it, which was very much in doubt at his time. An Indian scientist began studying the reaction and motion action of plants, and he gradually discovered through delicately constructed instruments the only thing that he could discover from the physical, because it had to be something physically occurring or his machinery couldn't register it. He found out that carrots can be afraid. Now this sounds utterly impossible, but by delicate mechanisms he saw the carrot moving a billionth of an inch to escape the knife. No eye could see it, but machinery could be created by which it could be estimated. And yet, having discovered this, what do we do about it? There's nothing we know what to do about it at the moment, but we must finally learn that we live in a universe that is entirely alive. And what we call matter is merely another form of energy. That we are living in a world in which everything has meaning, and that the final solution is that the individual learns to live with himself first and with the whole world next. We have to live within the normalcy of the environment in which we exist. We have an allotment belonging to the planet. If that allotment is desecrated, destroyed, wasted, then we are impoverished. The same is true of natural resources. When we do take various substances out of the earth, we leave in that place a certain scar. We have devitalized the earth. We have taken away from something from it. There is nothing in the earth that isn't necessary. So if we go beyond a certain point and impoverish it too rapidly, it is going to ultimately develop all kinds of sicknesses. As we will have all kinds of atmospheric disturbances. We will have plagues. A plague is a generalization of a single ailment that resulting from breaking the laws of living. And it spreads because most people have broken those laws. And the vibratory sympathies between one and another we call contagion. All of these things go to causes, and all these causes lie in the individual realizing himself to be a moral unit in a total morality, that he has to begin to do it right. He has to begin to use and not abuse the life energies which have been given to him. These energies are to help him to grow. He has used them to help him to kill himself. To find this out, then, is the beginning of philosophy, and it is also the key to the mystery that we know and recognize of pre-knowledge, foreknowledge. It is perfectly possible, under certain conditions, to see the build-up of something in the magnetic field. If you have energies to solve the problem, if you have means of estimating these build-ups, you can predict events that are going to happen. Unfortunately, the laws for the controlling of these events are not as yet fully understood by humanity. But we do know that the individual can influence the life of the collective. Each person can. We find that the religions are rates of vibration, all of them necessary. Any religion that stays true to its rate of vibration will endure. Anyone that breaks or abuses this trust will be punished. Not by God, not by anything except the vibratory factors are locked in confusion and to deprive its compound of life. Will destroy its function and interfere hopelessly with its growth and development. Wherever integrity comes in, things get better. The same we can say is in the case of AIDS. Here we have something in which the magnetic field has played a very large part, and the perversion of the magnetic field has caused a vast amount of trouble. But it is all the individual abusing the energies which have been given to him and are part of the maintenance of the world in which he exists. Our planet was equipped as a place of existence and livelihood for an evolving form of life, a form of life which has broken down into several major levels, but these levels all live here together, and they're here with all that is necessary for their perfection and their growth and survival. Little by little we have broken and abused these laws. Why? Because we are ignorant of them. And why are we ignorant of them? Because most people have never heard of them. And also there's no way of finding anywhere that we know of any general curriculum covering them. There are individuals working with it, but the world in general simply does not accept the fact that there is a sympathetic or antipathetic between living things. They will not accept the fact that what the individual does determines what he is. They rather take the viewpoint of what a man is, that he will do. But in this case, he isn't right, and what he does would not be right either. So we need to know the need for a complete reconstruction of our way of life. We need to take out of the magnetic field of our energies all ulterior motives. We must get rid of the abuse and waste of energy. We must get over wasting life. We must get over wasting thought, wasting affections, wasting friendships. We must get over the tendency to go into negative relationships with other things and try to realize that we are living on an energy that is available to us if we deserve it, but we are the only ones that can cut it off. If we do not receive it because of the nature of our own conduct and consciousness, then we are gradually eliminated from the pattern because we have lost the source of nutrition. The individual does not live on food alone. He does not live on all the extravagances and luxuries he has come to expect and believe in. The individual lives on the energy of the fields of his planet, and these in turn, these fields depend upon the sun, and these solar centers depend upon great cosmic suns. But in all cases, energy is available.